Greeting interwebs, it's Jackie K, and it might seem a little weird for me to actually give an intro while sharing Game Builder Garage content. You may notice that I've been throwing it up on the YouTube channels every now and then, slowly but surely replacing the slots that used to be GBL content. But in the mix of it, I decided that every now and then I should throw a video out here that's actually recorded locally off the streams. And let me just jump into the free programming part as I explain why. Well, first and foremost, the whole reason why I actually got into streaming Game Builder Garage in the first place was because of a lot of the inspirations involved with it. So I started doing Game Builder Garage on stream because there's a site called gggrandpa.com tied to a YouTube show that I watch that basically goes through and plays highly rated levels on that site. And it's from the same people that do Morning Mario, if you remember me talking about that YouTube series every now and then. Considering I figured not as many people would get this game as Mario Maker, and Game Builder Garage was an instant purchase for me just because of my aspirations with being a game developer myself, I really got into rating it. Like, it's not as impressive now because it's been a couple weeks since I've actually last rated levels, but I'm currently up to rating a total of 135 games on Game Builder Garage just from that site alone. And I would boast that that's not the only place I found games, but I'll be honest, that's the majority of where I found these games. There's a couple that I found on another site. Like, if you're specifically looking for particular games and not just wanting to get something random, I would highly recommend mygarage.games. Because on that site, you can not only submit levels, but you can actually search them by categories in that. But if you just want to go through and rate, that's for if you're like looking for something in particular. But Grandpa's Game Garage is still my personal preference for just game levels, even though like it's completely randomly thrown at me. I found quite a wide variety of stuff just going through that site and rating levels. Plus, it allows another YouTube channel with a lot more viewers and supporters to actually showcase levels as well, and so more people know about the games that are within Game Builder Garage and all of that. And you may be going, Jackie K, clearly you want to actually play some games. Why don't you just stream it? Well, there's a lot. While I do a bit of rating on this site, on the streams itself, majority of the time I'm actually going through this on my own time and rating levels. And because of that, there's quite a few levels that I feel are really good that I never actually get to showcase because I play them off stream. So I figured I'd make a pre-recorded video like this every now and then to properly share some of those particular levels. So why don't we just go in and do that. By the way, this always seems to be, this is my favorite like idle trying to kill time, get some sort of visual and audio cue while I'm just going on and rambling about things. Because your whole day, you make music, you watch the fish, that's the whole thing. That's all there is to it. But sometimes the simplest stuff actually has the most enjoyable thing to it. Now, I think for this first particular video, I want to just showcase some of the stuff that I was found really early on, like within the first week or two of this game's release. Starting with this, like, this has a special place in my heart because I think on the site, this was one of, if not the first game that I've played. It was definitely the first game I played, just getting things randomly voted on, that really caught my eye. It's simplistic, as you can tell. The whole objective is just to survive and fight off all the balls that are trying to attack you. But I think they, like, especially for something that was like within the day, that was probably made within the day of the release of this game, it really stands out to me just as being so simplistic. And I gotta admit, like, the fact that you can actually destroy the tutorial robot is a cute touch in of itself. And I want to actually like showcase it proper because I'm not doing too great. My personal secret with doing as well as you can in this is just keep your eye keep your finger on the camera button so you can, like, always see what's going on. Ignore my old advice to a T. And be all ready to go on the defensive at all times. The only downside of it is because the game relies on you to control the camera and does not do any of that work for you. It's very easy to get caught off guard. But again, this is like released within the first day of Game Builder Garage, from what I remember. And there's like a little score attack, so like you can just run around, try to avoid getting hit by the walls all the time, but if you're going for score, you have to actually destroy. It doesn't actually make a difference. I'm gonna give this a couple more tries, see if I can actually get something truly amazing out of it, and we can go in proper after that. Also, if I just survive long enough, we could probably see that I'm not the only one that can bring doom and destruction to that poor little tutorial robot there. I think that's long enough showcase. It's a simple game, so you kind of got the main gist of it already. One that I don't think I actually shown on stream was this fun little recreation of Time UFO. If you never played Time UFO, that's okay. You pretty much got the whole gist of the game right here. Oh, that's right, level codes. I think a big thing of part of the inspiration of me wanting to actually make videos of this sort of stuff is so as you may notice if you were not paying attention to me talking and paying more attention to the game, you may notice that there is a limit to how many games you can store. And it was like 65 or something, and I was boasting about earlier how I played like over 120 levels just on gggrandpa.com, let alone the other places I've stumbled onto them, whether it be that other site I mentioned earlier on, or with the help of chat on the times I have streamed the game. I've played a lot of Game Builder Garage, and there's a lot of stuff that I always want to have access to, but I don't think all of them are on the other site that I was mentioning, so I figured if nothing else, I would actually like make a little page, or I would use this as like an archive of all the levels I played, especially the ones I like to keep. Oh, come on, don't fall. Perfect. And so I can re-download them as I please. That'd be a little difficult if I don't ever actually showcase the level code. Let's press the right button this time. So you see on the right here, all the details relating to the programmer, the game ID. If you have this game for yourself, you'll want to pay attention to the game ID that's on the top here. Because you put in that code, including the letter G, and that's how you download the game for yourself. Also, if I'm feeling a bit, I'll try to remember to actually write down these codes in the video description, so you can check them out on your own time as well. I can't promise that they'll still be up because it is all based on the people. They could actually just like remove them from the servers whenever they please. So that's the thing in of itself. Okay. I just gotta get used to it. I have to press X before I go into the game to actually showcase. Oh, yeah, this is another really early on. I think like one of the first levels that I've seen while raiding. Though I may have actually showcased this one on stream, so apologies if there's a little repetition between a couple of stream VODs and that. But I really want to make sure I at least showcase the level codes for these games. It's simple enough. Like, you hold down the shoulder buttons to use the laser beam. You use the right stick to control vertical motion, and the left stick to control horizontal motion. And your goal is just to abduct as many things as you can, and bring them to this beacon over in the corner there. And you do get points based on what you carry in. I don't know if it's like point value, like if the trickier stuff to take back actually would be more points. But there's just a lot of little charms in this game because they actually take the time to like give each of these things you abduct their own little sound effect. Including like the iconic, as I tend to call it, the iconic Toad voice. Which is ironically enough just a female voice. I'm sure we've heard it once already, and I'm sure we'll hear it again. Yeah, I think it's the basic gist of it all. Maybe I'll like speed up for a little bit of this so we can actually show what happens at the end. Oh yeah, I completely forgot that we would actually get points for the coins as well. This is fun. Yeah, I don't think I ever noticed it before. Well, let me take it back and see. Where did the coin go? I don't think the game wants us to pick up the coins anyways. Or maybe it does. Yeah, it's like got a really fun gravity thing going on with it. But maybe like made it a favor for me just because of that and that alone. What's a ducky? I think the ducky had like a chick voice or something. Oh, one thing that you probably won't notice from watching that I should really point out, they actually put in the trouble to actually have the controller vibrate as you're holding down the abduction button. Because that's something you actually have to program in yourself when making things on Game Builder Garage. Because I don't know if I can imagine from the outside looking in how easy this would be to overlook, but yeah, essentially everything you get, oh, we missed it, but I think like it blows up, and that's your cue that time is up. But yeah, as I pick up and abduct things, as I would say if I didn't keep getting distracted because I am easily amused, when you pick up and abduct things, vibration, controller movement, all that has to be done with the in-game nodes that make up the game. There's no defaults to Game Builder Garage. You basically have to build everything yourself. Granted, there are like... the game comes with like interactive tutorials that cover a lot of the basics. And you do get to keep the games that you make from those tutorials, so you can just like save the game and slightly modify it as like a template. But overall, a lot of work goes into even the most basic thing in this game. We've been going for these a lot. Oh my god. I did this thing again. I did this thing where I forgot to showcase the level code for y'all. So, here's the code for UFO. Oh no, if you want to look into that yourself. And this would be the code for the next game that I want to showcase. Cubefriend Balloon Trip. I mean, it's very basic, but it does basically replicate Balloon Ride plus this derpy face. Very simple controls. Move the stick back and forth, and I go back and forth, and you just tap A to do like a little hover thing. I hate saying this, but it's like Flappy Bird. It's a lot more forgiving than Flappy Bird, but it's the same general concept of you get height by tapping A, and it's a little delayed. And that's the game. It's not too... I think they came across a lot better games, but I just wanted to showcase this one real quick because like there's just a little bit of charm that they have to the frickin' cube. It's a cube with a derpy face on it, and yet I love it for that. So as you see, you hit stuff, you fall, the game's over. Again, if you're curious about trying it yourself, there's the code. Alright, probably gonna squeeze a couple more, especially because I've been starting with a lot of the earlier stuff, so a lot of it is simpler. Since we're going through these real quick, a test of flight. This is one that has a lot of heart into it that I'm real surprised I haven't even seen on Grandpa's Game Garage quite yet. It's got a health system, it's got a collectible system, it's got puns. What's not to like? You don't know how to jump. I can see how people could get confused with the game's tutorials, with it, how sent they are to puns. But point being, like, it's not straightforward, but I can appreciate what they are trying to go for here. Trying to add a little bit more personality instead of just putting text into, like, how to explain things. Anyways, the gimmick that makes me, like, really love this game, you actually can swap between a person and a peacock. And this is, like, one of the first games I saw that actually tried to do something with a character beyond just a person node. The downside with it not being a person node is that it can be a little finicky at times. But I think like what they were able to do with this makes it well worth it. You can swap between person and peacock at any time. Person can attack and the peacock has like 5 jumps. And that's your key to getting through this level. Just being able to use the two abilities of your character. Or should I say the 2 forms of your character with their own unique abilities. Yeah, again, I won't deny how finicky it is, but you gotta give it props for just how creative it is, because definitely up to this point, I did not really see too many games play around with an exploration mechanic like that. And like, they even have like a little mechanic going on here where you destroy the enemies, and you can eventually free the fluff balls. And I forgot to mention the fluff balls are the collectibles of the game, and they're pretty well paced for the type of game that it's going for. I think we missed one. Maybe I'll go back for one, because I know we missed one along the way. Do I need to explain how to enter this? No, I think they got the point. So yeah, we now got the fluff balls. One problem that we'll find with Game Builder Garage in general, especially with the ones that try to do 3D platforming, you do have to make the camera as well. So it can be a little finicky, especially because they mostly rely on you doing manual control. I think we missed out on the fluff ball though. I don't think there's really a good way for me to go back for it. Maybe I can fly back? The other downside is there's no checkpoints in this game, and because it's another thing that you have to actually make, there's a lot of games that don't have checkpoints. So if I die, everything I've done is completely wasted, and we have to start over from the very beginning. And that's kind of like the reason why there's a few of these games that I like but never finish, because of just how unforgiving the lack of checkpoints can be. Obviously, especially as I see more Game Builder Garage, there's definitely ways to implement checkpoints into your system, but that requires the developer actually going through and making those checkpoints a reality. And yeah, that's what happens when you die. Yeah, I don't think getting that fluff ball is worth it. I'm trying to keep these around like 15 to 20 minute segments, and this has been going pretty long as is, but since I started, I really want to give this level full justice. Let me see if we can read this. Hello birdie, want to sing with me? Just hold down Y in a direction. I'm not sure if I quite figured out how this works, so I hold down Y. Oh! I think I know why I got confused. Because you don't use the stick, you actually have to use the control pad. Okay, I'll try not to do 2 of them at once again. And who knows, there might have been a fluff ball for like singing along with them or something. But we gotta at least get to the top here. And this is where I really make the no promises of actually... Oh! Assume you fall down, you get the fluff ball, and it is what it is. But we kinda got like a Kingdom of Bottom for Mario 64 thing going on to the point where I triggered a little too early. So you finally made it. It didn't take too long. Someone took the TriStar, and you are taking your time. If you're so worried, why didn't you go? But I'm too old to go for myself. Let me test you. What happened to taking my time? Battle now. Say, I got like a little boss fight here. I assume we want to avoid the projectiles. Do you want to kick this thing? I made... To be fair, that's the farthest I've ever gone, but... The irony of making it all the way to the end and then falling over. Fun. Also, I find with the peacock, if you wait until the very height of your jump to press the jump button again, it tends to work out a lot better than just tapping it rapidly. I think that's half the problem with how finicky things are. And yeah, you have a health system. You might notice in the boss fight, but I figured I'd really show it off proper here. Again, it needs a lot of polish, but I really love the concept behind the game. Fun. Now I gotta try to do this with only 2 hearts. Wouldn't be as bad if there was a checkpoint system, but again, I don't know how many people actually knew how to make that sort of thing back when this came out. Now, how do I do damage to him? Punching him? I think? Or is it just his tail? I feel like if I punch the wrong thing... That's enough, you did well. Not bad for no time yourself. Takes the orbs of the last 2 heroes, Roljon and Jill. Well, how do I use them? They are not for you. Give them to the 2 you trust. Now I'm curious if this game ever got any more parts to it. Because I wouldn't mind looking that up on my own time, especially if they actually polished up some of the mechanics for it. Oh yeah, I guess it is there. So, again, like the game ID, if you put in P and then that ID there, you can find the programmer as well. Alright, that will definitely do it for now. Thanks again for this little experiment I'm having with Game Builder Garage. I definitely have a few more in the backlog that I'd like to share. So we're definitely going to get another one of these videos sometime soon. Until then though, take care.